and welcome to WealthyTrades.com. This is Tyson Clayton, and I want to take the next few minutes to do a dashboard dive. A dive into the core WealthyTrades.com product offering, the dashboard, and the power behind the information that each subscriber and member gets to see on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Let's start out with the market trend quality. This is a very simple yet powerful tool to tell us how many stocks within the S&P 500 are moving in the direction of the overall trend. In this case, I'm clicked on a weekly basis, and I see that there's 501 stocks, and out of those stocks, 71.1% of them are moving in the same direction of the overall market trend. That's how we score the market trend. We then take it much further than that, and we drill that into the 9 sectors. Within the 9 sectors of the S&P 500, we want to find out which ones, on that weekly basis, if I'm clicked on a weekly tab, which ones are trading in the direction of the overall trend and provide us with the best, highest probabilities for success in the upcoming week. So we do that for you, and we do the same scorecard and market trend quality process on every sector. And in this case, we can see that the XLV, the healthcare sector, is the best performing sector. To put it another way, it's the best sector that we should focus on in the upcoming week. We can look at this information on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis, depending on our time frames and are we day trading, are we swing trading, or are we long-term investing. But as I can see, if I click on a weekly chart, I can understand, or a weekly tab, I can understand that the overall market is moving up. The quality is good, and the XLV, the healthcare sector, is the best sector for me to focus on within this upcoming week. Very simple, yet powerful information. I now want to take your attention and have you focus on the Levels to Win data box. This is extremely valuable information, and I want you to understand the power behind what you're seeing. If the healthcare sector is the best performing sector within a market that's moving up for this week, then we need to understand and know, based on history, how far something should move. What's the tendencies of it moving up? What's the tendencies of it moving down? Well, we do this information for you, and again, we do this on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. We calculate these based on algorithms, and we figure out how often or how far something should move. In the XLV's case, we tell you that this week, the XLV should move up to $73.25 or down to $71.23 based on historical movements and based on algorithms that are proprietary to the WealthyTrades.com platform. Within that, we tell you the historical performance percentage, meaning how often does it hit these levels. In the XLV's case, it should move up to $73.25, and it has a 51.9% probability of moving up to that level. So if I know that, if the market opened at $72.49, and it should move up to $73.25, I should have confidence to buy that and target that $73.25 because I have a 51.9% chance, based on history, of hitting that level. The Levels to Win, or Levels on Levels percentage, is a percentage based on how often it should close above this level. This information will help us manage the trade. Should we get out of the trade and target that level when it hits the $73.25, or should we stay in and let it run? Well, in this case, we should probably stay in and let it run because more often than not, when it hits the level, it closes above that level. And I can tell that by the Levels to Win profit. This tells me historically how often when it hits this level, does it continue to rally and close above that level, and what's the profitability when it does that. As I can see, if the number is profitable, which it is, then therefore I should continue to let this trade run and stay in the trade. Extremely powerful information within this. All right, and I get all that information from the dashboard in probably about 10 seconds. I can see weekly, we're moving up, XLV's in the best sector. I can see how far it should move up and the probabilities of it moving up to those levels. We take it further than that though. We go into the overall sector performance and the stocks, the best stocks within that sector. In this case, we rank these, we show the 8 best stocks within the best sector. So not only do we know that the market is moving up and that the XLV, the healthcare sector, is the best sector to be in for this upcoming week, but we show you the 8 best stocks to go into to give you the highest probabilities of success. So as we can see, these are the 8 stocks that we should go into or look for opportunities to potentially buy in. So I'm going to actually go ahead and hit the plus symbol right next to the stock symbols, and I'll show you the reason why in a minute. But what that's doing, when I hit the plus sign, it's moving it over into my individual portfolio, which I'll talk about in a minute. Before I get into that, I want to show the Levels to Win in the Wealthy Trades chart. This is a customizable chart that's absolutely phenomenal. It'll help you understand visually where those levels are. So if I'm looking at a weekly basis, and I'm looking at the weeklies because we know that the market's moving up on a weekly basis, the healthcare sector is the best sector to be in. We know the information and the levels and the historical hit rates. Now I want to see it visually. Well, I can do that by customizing this, showing only the weekly levels to win, clicking on intra period, and then customizing the time frame that I want to see. So in this case, I can click on, I want to see a month's worth of data. I want to have it display the levels to win upside because that's the level that we know that has a 51.9% probability of hitting. And I want to display the downside also. So it gives me a visual of how far these levels should move, and it also helps me understand, is there anything that's going to hinder these this asset class, this XLV, from getting up to those levels. And as I can see, it looks like a pretty clean trip all the way to that level. So this is a trade that I should be very confident in taking. From that point, I want to go to your individual portfolio. You find your individual portfolio over on the Wealthy Trades dashboard, over on the side. When I click this button here, it takes me to my portfolio. And these 8 stocks are the same 8 stocks that I clicked on, that plus sign, to get them into my portfolio. Now within here, what I can do is I can click on each one of these. Let's click on ACT. Let's go over to a weekly. And I can see an ACT was one of the best performing stocks within the best performing sector. I can click on ACT and I can get the actual levels to win data for that individual stock. And I can see that ACT is in an uptrend. It opened at 293.16. It should move up to 298.31, and it has a 53.8% probability of doing that. There's powerful information in this too, because I can see that when it hits this level, it should hit that 298.31. It has a 53.8% probability historically of hitting that level. But when it does hit that level, it normally loses money. So therefore, if I do buy ACT at, let's say, 293.16, I should target 298.31 and get out because historically it loses money. This is information that's going to help me manage my trades. All right. So from there, I can save as many stocks within my portfolio as I want. In this case, I saved the 8 best weekly stocks, and I can look at those individually and find the ones that give me the best probabilities and look the best historically. From there, I can click on the search tab, and I can search for any stock. Let's say that I'm a fan of Netflix, right? And I could type in Netflix, and I can pull up the information, the levels to win data on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis on Netflix. So I can see on a daily basis, Netflix should move to 480.20 or down to 471.62. It actually has a higher probability of hitting the downside than it does the upside. But here's the thing, here's the way I could use this information if I'm a day trader. I could say it has a fairly decent probability of hitting this downside level. And when it does, historically, it bounces off and makes money. So therefore, buying at that 471.62 is a good, profitable historical trade. And I can drill into that using the levels to win chart. And I can go into the intraday periods, tie this up, and see it's actually trading right at about that level right now. It's currently at about 472, bouncing off that lower level, and historically we shouldn't be surprised if this thing bounces off, rallies, and closes above that level, because historically that's what it typically does. That is a dive into the Wealthy Trades dashboard and a little glimpse behind the power that you get every single day, and that Wealthy Trades team provides you every single day. We do these calculations in the back end. These algorithms are done for you, and you get access to them on a daily basis to understand where the market's really moving, what sector you should be in, and the best stocks to look at each day, week, and month. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to helping you more in the future.